Comment where you signing in from. What part of the world you in this morning? What time is it there? Steve, you up early. Okay, South Africa, I'll see you. UK, it's lunchtime over there. Okay, that's crazy. I see you, Francis. I see you from Ghana. I see you, South Africa. Thank you, Juan. I gotta get it. Drop a comment. Where you signing in from? What time it is? Where you are? I'm in the heat. I'm in the key of the heat. Okay, so what I'm doing, this lick I've already actually broken down on another lesson. Be sure when you jump off of here, if you're interested in this groove that I'm playing, I'm breaking this lick down. Thank you, Steve. I'm breaking this lick down on 1 minute lick number 8. I did a series of 1 minute licks. I did like a month series of 1 minute licks. And I actually break this lick down on that video. So you can go and watch that video if you want the complete breakdown of what I'm doing. It's in the key of E, but my bass, y'all know I don't tune standard most of the time. So I'm a half step down. So my E position looks a little weird on this bass, but I'm in the key of E. Yeah, I'm not gonna break this lick down on this particular video because I've done a video where I actually break the lick down, and I want you to go watch that. It's called 1 minute, write it down, 1 minute lick breakdown number 8, obviously by myself. Check it out on my page, on my, go to my YouTube channel and go to the 1 minute lick videos, and you should see that. So you should find the breakdown there. There's a video where I play it and I slow it down, and then there's a video where I come back and I actually break down the lick and kind of give the background of what it is I'm doing there. So just a little groove that I'm playing. The foundation of it is pretty straightforward. Real funk. Got a lot of guitar stuff going on. A lot of funky guitars, percussion. Let me make sure I'm missing your comment. Let me see what that was. I got a 5-string so I can stay in standard tuning and shake the foundation. Yes, sir. That low B. That low B definitely shakes the foundations, but you put that B flat on there, you're definitely shaking them, especially in the gospel world. What's up, Devi from Paris? If I pronounce your name wrong, sorry about that. Yeah, let me see what other comments I missed. Isaac, I see you, man. Thank you. So yeah, again, that lick is available on my channel. I broke it down. It's 1 minute lick number 8 on my YouTube channel. So if somebody know the video, you can link it here, or I'll come back later and link that video to this video if anybody's interested in seeing what it is I'm doing there for that video. So I just wanted to jump on this morning. You guys know what it is. We've been going at these live sessions for about a little over a month, I think now, and I've been enjoying them, man. I've been really enjoying talking to you guys, sharing with you guys. And the topic of today's video, one of the things I asked this question, and who are you trying to impress? Who are you trying to impress? And it's really a question that often come up with us as bass players. Don't care what level you're on. You reach this point in your playing, there are highs and lows. There are highs and lows. It doesn't matter how good you are. From everybody I've talked to, there are highs and lows. Justin Raines is a great friend of mine, and we have had this conversation countless times about how one day, you're playing, you feel really, really good about it, and the next day it's like, oh my goodness, dude, I sound a mess. I need to practice. And it's like, not to say that you're not a good player, but it's this thing that keeps you hungry. It keeps you growing. And oftentimes than not, you find that comes from listening to other people or listening to your peers, which there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a fine, in my opinion, there's a fine balance between um, listening to other people and being inspired and listening to other people and being intimidated. Yes, sir, Isaac. So yeah, there's a fine line between the two, because there are many players I've listened to over the years. I'm sorry, Brazil. I missed your comment there. Let's see here. Who is that? Oh, no problem. No problem. But yeah, listening to other people and becoming inspired, that's great. That's a great thing to do. You want to listen to other players to become inspired. And don't just listen to bass players. Listen to everybody. And you get that inspiration, draw inspiration from everything. Draw inspiration from stuff that you're dealing with, stuff in family, stuff with friends, social, all that type of stuff. Draw inspiration from that and build off of that when you play. But the thing that you have to be careful that you're not trying to do is impress your peers. Because a lot of times I find that we practice and we learn stuff simply to get that gratification from other people instead of really digging in and trying to maximize your full potential as a player with what you can do and what you know how to do. Because once you start measuring yourself up against other people, you're going to fail every time. Because one thing about it, you're not going to beat somebody else at their own game. You're not going to beat someone sounding like them or doing what it is that they do really, really well. But you have some things that you do really well. There are people that I grew up with or people that I grew up listening to, players that in their field, in their line of work, you can't beat them doing what it is that they do. I get better because I enjoy reaching new levels. Of course, we all do. We all want to reach those new levels of what's up, Arizona? We all want to reach those new levels of heights in our playing. We all want to grow, but sometimes if we be honest, sometimes we fall into this trap. Just say today you're feeling great about your playing, but you scroll through social media or you go on YouTube or you hear this little 5-year-old kid that just started playing like yesterday and he can play circles around most professional players. Stuff like that, random scenarios like that. Y'all know I'm being facetious with that. But the thing about it is, oftentimes we hear these things and they can either motivate you, they can either intimidate you, or just make you overall disgusted with your own playing or with your own sound, because you hear something that someone else is doing and you might begin to, if you're not careful, you could begin to envy what that other person is doing, or envy that sound that the other person is getting, or envy the attention and the respect that someone else is getting. And now that causes you to question what it is you're doing, and you start to kind of almost gravitate towards what that person is doing, as opposed to going after your own sound. Instead of using that as fuel or using that as inspiration to grow and to become a better player, you start gravitating towards what this person is doing. Oh, they did this and everybody like this, so I want to start doing that now. You know, and let's be honest, who's done that before? Show of hands. I know I even early on in my career, I found myself doing certain things because I heard other bass players do it. Who is that? Aaron the bass is yeah, of course, Aaron. of course, of course, Aaron is amazing. That little guy is amazing, man. I look forward to meeting him one day, just seeing how amazing he is as a young player. But the thing about it is, a lot of these young players, again, I've said that I preached a sermon on so many other lives. Uh, a lot of the young players coming up now have so much access to the information. They have this YouTube, they have access to their favorite players, or their parents are musicians and they're sitting them in environments where they're hearing this. I'm doing the same thing with my daughter. My daughter is 7 years old. She has perfect pitch and just ears are just amazing. And so with that natural gift, obviously it makes it a lot easier for her. What's up from Nigeria? It makes it a lot easier for her to understand music, because she's playing the keyboard down and she's picking up acoustic guitar. She can sit on the drums and she plays a groove and it actually makes sense. So it's like, uh, yeah, so it's like it's crazy that these kids are getting this stuff now. And of course they can go on YouTube and look up whoever their favorite artist is. I couldn't even listen to jazz when I was growing up. I see you from Illinois, so that back. I couldn't even listen to jazz. I had to, I tell you, when I first started listening and getting into jazz, it wasn't that I couldn't listen to jazz. I didn't have any records or anything like that when I first started playing. And so when I first started kind of hearing or getting into jazz, I would listen to it from the streaming stations. We had cable. And so, you go up in those higher channels and you have the I guess that would be the internet radio or whatever you call it. Then so I would go on those channels and check out the smooth jazz, check out the different artists. I would hear people like George Benson and all that kind of stuff up until I bought the records. That's what I would get. I have 3 kids, none of them want to play bass. No, man, it's my daughter is not playing bass, but she has a natural interest in music. And let me give you something that might help. I found myself doing this when I saw my daughter had an interest in music. I got 3 kids, and now all of them are interested in music in some type of way. My son, not so much. He's interested. It varies for him. He goes back and forth. So, but my daughter, she has my oldest daughter has the natural ability to do it because of the perfect pitch and all of that stuff, her ears and everything. What's up, Puerto Rico? Yes. Oh, okay. I see you listen. You're on vacation. Oh, okay. Well, enjoy your vacation. It must be great to be in Puerto Rico. So, it is this thing about what I would do early on when I saw she was interested in it. I would push her really hard. If I saw her, okay, she was interested in a keyboard, so I bought her a keyboard, and I push her to practice, to really stay on her. You're not practicing. You're not. That natural musician in you and the perfectionist in you. What's up from Dubai? I got to get to Dubai. I don't have any flights going out there anytime soon, but I need to make sure that I get one headed to Dubai. So yeah, I would push her. Hey, you haven't been practicing. You need to work on this. And I noticed when I did that, she started to pull away because indirectly I started to pull the fun out of her playing. 2 of them, like playing keys, youngest guitar. Okay, I got you. What's up, Trinidad? Jason, I see you. So I started to back up. I started to back away from pushing so hard, from pushing her to try to play. And the same thing with my son. It's like one of these things, what they say, hindsight is 2020. When I was doing it, I noticed their interest for wanting to play. Cypress, I see you. Daniel, their interest for wanting to play kind of left because I was pushing them so hard. For me, I'm a natural perfectionist, so it's hard to turn that off a lot. And I was doing it with my kids. And so when I did that, it made them not want to play. And I noticed once I stopped doing that so much and they saw me enjoying what it is I do, like here in my studio, I have drums, I have basically every instrument in here for the most part of the, the basic rhythm section instruments, no horns, anything like that in here. But Fayetteville, Stephen, I see you. It made them more interested when they saw I was just having a great time playing. I put music on, put my headphones on, rock out on the drums, and just have a lot of fun. They come down to the room and dance. And I noticed when they see me having a good time, it interests them to want to play. Just like my daughter now she's picking up acoustic guitars. I got this thing that I do with my kids in the morning, the family devotion, where we spend time, we sing songs early in the morning. We sing songs, and then I teach them something, from the Bible. I teach them a verse or something like that and kind of explain it to them. So they really enjoy that time. And so when I'm playing the guitar, I notice my kids are just kind of sitting on the edge of their seat. And the more we do it, the more they watch me. They watch my hands. They watch what I'm doing. So now they're always coming to me, Daddy, can I play your guitar? And so what I find myself doing now is I leave my acoustic guitar out a lot more. And I see that my daughter has picked up acoustic and she started figuring things out. Now what I will do is if I see they're stumped with something, I kind of give them a little nudge to kind of help them get it, figure it out. Ex-girlfriend of mine was put off by learning piano because Overly strict. Yep. Yep. And no shade to the teacher or us, as it's like if we hear a little Philippines, what's up? So if we hear a little potential from, you know, the people who are trying to learn and they're around us, your natural instinct is to almost kind of like a lion. You see something, you want to pounce on it. You know what I'm saying? You see an opportunity there, you want to jump on that opportunity. Oh, they're interested in drums or they're interested in piano. So, oh, I better hurry up and get them. I better make sure I give them the right stuff. I better, the wrong mentality. It's easier to do when they're not your kids or when they're not, it's not someone you have a little more patience with them. But if you see a little bit of potential, like this can be really good, you pounce on it immediately. Or like my son, son, you got to play the beat when you're playing this song. You gotta stay on the groove or something like that. Instead of just allowing him to enjoy the music. If he doesn't make any sense, as long as he's having fun right now, he'll get there. But if I stay on him, he's not going to want anything to do with it. So I found myself, long story short, just pulling back and letting them enjoy the process. That really kind of brings me back to the point that I'm trying to make. Who are we trying to impress? Now, if my daughter had just toughed it out and started to just practice and do all of this stuff just to make sure I'm making daddy happy, your whole life, or her whole life rather, would be about trying to impress daddy, trying to make daddy happy. I know daddy plays and I want to make sure I play the right notes because I know she's naturally a perfectionist. I can already see it at 7. She's naturally a perfectionist. She practices on stuff and she don't want me to hear it until she has it, pretty confident and she knows what it is that she's playing. She want me to hear it then. But before then, it's like she'll go practice, and once she gets to a certain point, South Africa, I see you. What's that? Tetilo? I can't pronounce that. But what's up? I see you. But yeah, she has this thing that she's what was that? Cameroon. I see you, Andre. I became a musician to get girls and money. I'm single and yeah, that's probably a bad reason. It's like in my family, I became a musician, and it's funny that I kind of had that struggle with my kids early with trying to somewhat push them because my parents didn't do that when it came to me learning how to play. And I think that's what made it so easy for my brother and I to pick up so many different instruments and just be able to play multiple instruments because there was never any pressure on. Partly, I kind of wish I had a little bit more pressure because I would have dug in a little harder when I was younger. But because there wasn't any pressure, it made it easy for me to move around to the different instruments because I didn't feel any pressure coming from anybody. And it stayed fun for me the entire time that I was learning to play. It was fun. It was always fun. I mean, I spent most of my teenage years, I had a key to my church. I spent most of my teenage years shedding at the church, going down and playing the keyboard, playing the drums, playing the guitar, playing the bass. I would make tracks. I learned how to start recording on my church 4-track recorder. I mean, that was just my thing because I had a lot of fun doing it. And I think when we can keep the fun in what it is we're doing rather than trying to impress somebody, just enjoy the entire process. We get so hung up on, man, I couldn't figure out this lick and I can't do this and I can't do that. We hear somebody play something crazy and we want to go back and figure out how to play it. Back in the day, that stuff would inspire us. But I think social media now, we're so flooded with so many good people that seem to be normal people. We feel like we're behind at times. And it can take the fun out of it because you're just trying to be in keep up mode. You're trying to keep up with the latest lick or the latest this, the latest that. Somebody has a new bass, somebody has a new tone, somebody has a new style of picking, somebody's doing this really cool thing, and you're trying to keep up with stuff as opposed to enjoying the journey, enjoying your process. To be honest, Daniel, now that I have a family and I have so much responsibility, especially after this move, I'm saying now, like I just got my family 2 days ago. But lately, I haven't been able to practice as often as I'd like to. Normally, I try to put in at the least 2 hours a day. That's what I normally try to get in. And most days I can pull it off, but sometimes it's very, very, very difficult to get that done with trying to do so many other things. In England during the 50s and 60s, many household pianos and more radios became more affordable. People started smashing. Wow. Yeah. But yeah, that's for me. That's how I practice it, And some days I can come in here, I can get 3 to 4 hours out, just spreading. And it's not. I don't want you to think that I'm sitting here doing nothing but playing bass for hours. No, I have to break it up, and I might play for 45 minutes, and I got to go do something else and go handle some business, and I come back and do something. Like now, I'm spread so thin at times when it comes to making videos, when it comes to production, or when it comes to just like if you have to record something for somebody, or if I have the house I moved into, there's a lot of responsibility for maintaining my property right now. So I have to do a lot of stuff there. So it takes a lot of time in other areas. And of course, you guys know when you move into a new house, you're never finished. For like the first year, you always have something to do. So it takes a lot of time away that I don't get the time to practice that I feel like I should get in, those moments that I should be getting in. But I am practicing nonetheless. I do practice, not as often as I would like to, but I am practicing. So I recommend, if you're able to, if you working a 9 to 5, you got a lot of responsibilities, still try to pull off at least, 2 hours a day if you can. You know, how do you practice if time is not enough? Um, that's an interesting question. Because I think the thing that helps me, I put in a lot of hours when I like switched over to bass full time. And I say that because most of you know that I play guitar as well. The things I do, I'm practicing things from like skills. I went from practicing a lot of technical stuff to just implementing. Cause hopefully we all have went over like the scales and we've learned the modes and those kind of things. And my thing has went from sitting and practicing a different skill or a different this, different that, to implementation, to trying to figure out how to make uh, this musical thing more like me talking than a technical piece. The thing, what to practice and why. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So for me, this is my personal preference. I don't know where you are in your journey as a musician. I don't know, what things that you're dealing with. You have to custom build you a regimen of what you need to work on. Me personally, at the stage of where I am as a musician and my career, what I want to accomplish, I want to sound more natural. I want to sound like I'm speaking. And when I'm practicing on speaking, or when I know how, because sometimes I have to speak out before people, I have to work on being more relatable, or figuring out what the audience needs and that type of thing when I'm talking. It's not, I don't sit in front of a mirror and say A B C D E F G A B C D E F G H I J K. I don't sit there and practice the foundation of talking, if that make any sense. At this level of communication, I don't sit and practice that kind of stuff. So it's not me just wasting time goofing off and grooving for 20 minutes on the same thing. It's me kind of taking the stuff out of my head that I've already practiced and implement it into a groove or into an idea, and making it sound as naturally as I do when I'm speaking, if that makes any sense. Almost, here's another thing. Sometimes I practice singing. I can sing certain things, so if I hear something in my head, I try to sing it and try to make it sound as naturally as it does when I sing. Now that doesn't say that I don't every now and again, doing stuff like that just to keep my hands loose. I'll do some skills and I'll do some exercises every now and again for just for warming up sake. Just do some chromatic exercises just to warm up. Um, just basically like kind of what I'm doing, just regular chromatic stuff just to kind of wake my fingers up. But I don't spend my entire day working on technical stuff. Some people do that because they want to be faster and they want to, have super speed. And I was doing that for a while as well. Again, do understand, I'm talking about in terms of playing and where you are in your growth as a musician. At the time when I was learning and going through all the skills and trying to do these chromatic exercises and trying to do these different, I can't even do it anymore. So doing little stuff like that, I was doing that trying to build up speed and independence in my fingers. And once I got that to a point to where I could really deal with it, I started working and focusing, because at each level of your playing, it starts to shift. You start to kind of notice other things you should be working on. You'll come back to those foundational things, but at each level of your playing, you should kind of know, okay, I'm trying to work on this now. I'm trying to work on tone, or I'm trying to work. Your practicing should be catered to what you personally need. So a person could give you a regimen of exercises of things you can do, but that might not help you if you're playing a Sunday gig or whatever your gig might be. You have a whole bunch of chops and you're still messing up on songs. You're still messing up on retaining music. Maybe your practice should be centered around you learning the music and figuring out a system of you better doing that, and a system of executing or learning stuff fast. So those are the type of things. So I don't want to sound like I'm dodging your question, but I'm saying in terms of my practice and what I work on, it's depending on where I'm at in the moment. Just say if I'm trying to work on singing a line, doo doo. I know those are the notes. Do, it's early in the morning, so my voice sounds a mess. Sorry. It's a, ooh, 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 ooh. So I know I'm smooth with the notes when I'm singing them, but when I'm playing them, it sounds choppy. So, ooh. So I'll do that, and I maybe do it again, and I'll start adding my vibrato and then trying to figure out how I can emulate that vibrato with my bass. So now if I say ooh, ooh, so now I got vibrato happening, whereas before it was ooh, ooh. I'll start trying to emulate those different things. Music retention, learning a lot of songs. That's listening to a lot of music and paying attention, even when you're not at your bass or your instrument. Listening to that music and trying to figure out where it's going. Learning patterns quickly. Learning what's happening, getting these different patterns. Most songs follow a pattern. It's a pattern that happens. And the only thing that happens different, especially in gospel music, you might have a lick or something that happens in between a break, or they'll do a different change or like a different move in time in the second verse or the second chorus or something like that. But most of the time, it's a pattern. It's a repeating pattern that happens. Being able to identify what that pattern is quickly. Okay, I got the pattern. This is the first verse. This is the second verse. Everything else in between here is color. It's just accents, basically, because the pattern is the same. There's a verse, chorus, bridge, vamp for most songs. Verse, so basically intro, verse, chorus, bridge, vamp. Most songs have the same format. Not all songs. That's not a rule of thumb for every single song, but most songs have the same format for the most part. Gospel that's the genre that I know the most. Writing lead sheets is a good way to do it if that's something you're into. I do a lot of charting because for me, that's what started to help me the most in terms of time, being more efficient with learning songs. My retention for a while, I struggled, and it depends on the person. Some folks can learn certain something. Like for me, when it comes to my own music that I perform, certain things I can write out. Like it's of course it's jazz and funk fusion, whatever you want to call it. When I'm writing it out, I'm not gonna get anywhere. I'm gonna spend more time trying to figure out how to write all of this stuff out than just go ahead and listening to it over and over again and make sure I internalize the music. What helped me with doing gospel and CCM and sessions and that kind of stuff, I started charting with the number system and started charting that stuff out. And then I'll write, if it has a little lick or something, I'll write it out. And that helps me to save time when it's a lot of music, just doing simple chord charts or doing number charts, that kind of thing. It really helped me to save a lot of time. Now, after playing it over and over again, I internalized the music, and so I no longer tongue twisted, no longer needed the charts. But immediately, I had to have those charts to help me to remember the stuff, especially when I was getting thrown a lot of music. I have, 6 or 7 songs we have to do for a Sunday, and then I have like 5 or 6 songs I have to learn for a gig that week, and then I have sessions that I have to play in between that where I'm having to learn this music for these sessions to record, and a lot of stuff happening. And I got regular life happening between all of that music. It was harder for me to try to remember and retain all of that music. I might have spent time at the beginning of the week learning the music, and by the time Sunday got here, I was forgetting stuff. And it was stuff that I really knew, and it would frustrate me a lot. So I started writing it down. I started doing it that way. But I know other people who just listen to the music over and over and over and over and over again, and they have it, and they don't have to write it down. So it depends on you as a person, what works best for you. I had to find a system that worked for me. So that charting system worked best for me when it came to regular church music, session music, and all those type of things. Unless it was a song if it's a song that's very detailed, it got a lot of lines, a lot of licks, I'm probably just gonna commit to focusing most of my memory on the stuff that has the most going on, and the stuff that seems like it's the more simple, I write it out. If that answers the question. I missed some stuff here. This is exactly where I am now, charting and learning. Exactly. Yep, I got you, Steve. Yeah, that's what I had to do. Man, you transform my plan with a video you posted about implementing the pentatonics. Daniel, it's my pleasure, man. I just charted in the number system. Yes, Steve, that's a good thing. Charting with the number system is definitely good. If you can understand your own writing and understand what certain things mean, and you might have to custom do it just for yourself. I mean, you're the one that's reading it, so as long as you understand what it is. Got you. So, yeah, that's pretty much. Hopefully, I answered. I can't remember who asked the question about the practice routine, but like those are the type of things that I'm currently working on. Is like the singing thing and trying to make it sound more natural, because it's coming more from a solo type perspective, and because I like my style of solo and sounds more like singing, so I want it to sound more like the voice when I'm playing melodies and certain things and I'm soloing on certain songs. I want it to sound like how I hear it in my head, and that's the best way to do it, to make sure that my bass and my voice are connected. It makes it so much easier to translate it musically when I do it that way. Missing comments here. Let's see what we got. Gotta go. Man, my pleasure. Appreciate you for hanging in there with me. Stedman, I follow so many videos. I listen to so many lessons. Jay, is there a way to work on speed, or maybe an upcoming lesson? No, maybe. Let's see here. You internalize the music after you learn. Okay, I'm seeing the questions coming in. The speed thing. I've done some lessons on it. Fleetwood. I've spent more time in my membership lessons talking about the speed, and even on some of the licks that I talked about. Take the stuff you already know, and this is something I can answer really quickly. Take the stuff that you already know. Put a metronome to it. Start maxing out what you already know. Start at slow tempos, just something as simple as a scale. take something that simple and start working on that. Just start working through that. And what I would do, exercise that worked really well for me in terms of building speed, I would take an exercise like that, put the metronome on. And the reason why I say put the metronome on, because some people are against the metronome and some people are for it. I ain't even getting into all of that. The reason why I say that, it helps you to keep a steady tempo so you really know that you're not fluctuating in speed. You got something that's reminding you where that click is at all times as you're trying to dial in and work in on speed in general, you know what I'm saying? So work on that. Take it at a slow speed. Take it up like 10 clicks or 20 clicks. Keep working on it. Back it down about 10 clicks. Clean it up. Speed it back up 20 clicks. 20 BPM. See how you sound there. Back it back down to about 10. Work on it. Clean it up. Bump it up about 20 more. And you repeating that process, and what you're doing, you're cleaning and you're pushing that glass ceiling that you have over your playing. You're constantly pushing it. You're pushing it up. You're pushing it up higher and higher. And what you're doing, you're expanding what you can do. And you'll find your speed, if you do that and practice that regularly for just a week, you'll see that your speed begins to really, really increase just by practicing stuff you know. It doesn't even have to be some crazy exercise. You can do different exercises. I'm not saying don't implement exercises, but I got this nugget from Adam Nitty in terms of working on perfecting what you already know instead of trying to move on to other things. Like the things that you already know how to do, perfect those things, get those things really fast, play those things really well, and then start incorporating more things as you go. Because more times than not, when you're at your gig, when you're at church, when you are wherever you are that you play, you're going to go to the stuff that already internalized, the stuff that's already there. You're going to go to that stuff naturally, and you're going to pull out that stuff. It's very rare that you're going to pull out a new lick that you learn or a new exercise that you learn. It's not in your, muscle memory yet. You're going to go to the stuff that you've been playing for years, and you're going to pull that stuff out. That's going to be your go-to stuff that you're going to play more than likely. So if you perfect that stuff, it's going to sound that much better. You're going to do it faster. You're going to play it cleaner. You're going to enjoy it because you feel more confident when you're doing stuff and you're doing it really well. So that's my take on working on speed. What else I'm missing? You said internalize the music after you learn it. Jermaine, how do you do that in simple terms? Internalize the music, meaning after you've heard it so many times, it's now become a part of your somewhat muscle memory. Or like there are certain songs like I didn't have to practice that. I don't think I ever sat down and tried to play that song. It's like one of them songs, you've internalized it because you've heard it so much. And of course, most everybody know what that bass line is. Michael Jackson, Billie Jean, you know what I'm saying? So it's like stuff like that, that after hearing it so many times, it's become a natural part of your music repertoire. So you don't even have to think about it. Somebody starts off Billie Jean, you know exactly what to play. That means you've internalized the music. You don't have to think about it. All right? Let's see. Missing some more stuff. So and solo, and is it true that less is more? Not necessarily. I wouldn't say that that's true. Less is more. It depends on the listener. It depends on the person who's saying less is more. If you have a lot to say, I think I heard an interview talking about Miles Davis and the early records, like the his first record with like Nefertiti and all that stuff. I don't know if that was his first record, but it was like some earlier Miles Davis records. You have Miles that's playing really long, notes, and he's taking his time saying what he needs to play. And he got the saxophone player. I don't know if it was Coltrane, another I can't remember all the names right now. It's too early in the morning. But anyway, you got this guy that's and it's a lot more that he had to say. But they just had two different ways of expressing themselves. Didn't mean that one was right and the other was wrong. It's just that's your expression. I'm from the South. I talk slow. I can get my point across and I'm still talking slow. There are people who are from up north, they talk, you guys know, y'all talk really fast and you can say a whole bunch of more words in a shorter amount of time. But it's like George Benson versus BB King. Who's the better of the two? I mean, do you really have to put them in a category of who's the better or who's saying more, who should be saying less? George Benson, in my opinion, I can appreciate BB King just as well as George Benson. They have two completely different ways of expressing themselves, but both of them get their point across. So that is subject to the person or subject to the listener when you say less is more. That's preference at the end of the day. Uh, let's see here. Metronome's great. Learned this early. Yep, keeps you on the beat. Metronomes are definitely great. Oh yeah, my courses. Great question because I almost forgot to mention that. My courses on my website. One of the things I kind of specialize in. Most of you guys already know this is gospel music, and I heard somebody say my lessons are more so gospel and funk and driven, gospel, funk, and soul. So the biggest thing on my lessons, I really deal a lot with gospel music, dealing with. There's a course called the Shout Bump Bass course, and what that course deals with, it deals with playing shout music, how shout music over the years has evolved. It's no longer, you don't play that for 30 minutes anymore at most churches. They're moving and doing all these different things. Well, this lesson gives you like an overview of different shout scenes. I think there's like 5 more modern type shout scenes, and it gives you an idea of some of the stuff that you can play, and it kind of breaks up that monotony of playing the same. That's cool, but it's changed from that. There's other stuff that happens in shout music now. Now I can't possibly cover every different shout nuance and variation that's out there now, but I did cover a lot of the themes and a lot of the more modern sound of shout music to give you a better idea of how to approach it. So that's what that course is about. I have a course also called the Congregational Songs, where I'm doing the guitar course and the bass course. There's 2 parts for the bass, 1 for the guitar. I got to do the second part still. People still waiting on that. Sorry. But yeah, so with the congregational course, I came out of a background where we did a lot of congregational music, and I noticed a lot of more modern churches as time went on, especially if you didn't grow up in like an old school church. Nowadays, everybody's doing praise and worship. We doing Ty Dulaney, we doing Chris Tomlin, we doing all these Israel Houghton. We're not doing any, burden down, Lord, burden down. Like most churches aren't doing that anymore. So when somebody or the praise and worship leader or somebody in the church, like the pastor, wants to go back and do something that's old, like I want to do this old song in my spirit, you have no clue what to play because you haven't. Like, here's an example. If I could find this really quick of. An example of what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can do this really quick. It's like burdens down right here. Come on, son, play it. Yes. Since I made my first step, since I made my first step. Like a song like that. That's actually one of the songs that we go over on the congregational course, just to give you an idea of some of the stuff that we cover. And it's that short. It's a loop, and it just keeps looping. And I'm just giving you variations and things you can do to kind of get through stuff like that you maybe never heard before because you didn't grow up in that type of environment. Some people who grew up in church know exactly what that is, and y'all know exactly what to do when they kick off a song like that. But there's a lot of people who have no clue what to do. It doesn't make you, again, one of these things, it doesn't make you right or wrong. It's just understanding in culture. Some of us grew up with that type of stuff. Some of us didn't have the privilege of growing up with that type of stuff. So we have no clue when it comes to that. Anyway, I created a solution with those type courses. The other courses that you guys know about are the riffs and licks courses, where I break down basically kind of what I'm doing on YouTube, but it's more in depth. I break down these licks and show you how to play them. The monthly membership courses are the courses where we do weekly lessons where I'm covering everything. It's so many lessons. There's over like 200 lessons in that catalog of lessons since I've been doing the monthly membership lessons. Just a lot of material. There are different things I cover from tone, from slap, different licks, different approaches, playing more aggressive, digging in, grooving, modes, everything. There's a lot of information that I cover from week to week. And then the members have the option of emailing me some of their concerns or some of the things they are looking to work on. And I create lessons based on that whenever I get a request about something that somebody wants to know something about. So yeah, that's pretty much an overview. And the membership plus option, if you are on the website, if you've been to the website, that basically includes all of the lessons, like $39.99 a month. And you can basically get access to all of the lessons. You just simply sign up for the ones you want. It doesn't automatically send all of the lessons to you, but you do get access to the weekly lessons from me, and then you get access to all of the other courses that I create as well. And another thing I wanted to mention, and I'm going to get back to the questions. I see you guys posted some other statements and questions there. I'm going to get back to them. But I almost forgot to mention, and thank you for whoever asked me about the website, because I completely forgot this. But I'm offering coaching call sessions. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically an opportunity. It's not a base lesson. Let me repeat. It's not a base lesson. What it is, there are people who over the years who've asked me about like mentorship, coaching them, kind of giving them advice, giving them some nuggets, giving them some feedback on some things that would help to further their career. And for years I've been asked these things, and I just, one, didn't really have the time to do it. And two, I didn't have anything in place to kind of accommodate that. But now we created something on my website, and I want you to go to it, JermaineMorgan.net, and there's a tab there that says coaching sessions. And it allows you to basically get a call with me during the week. Like each one is set up in a way that we do it for at the minimum a month. And what we do, I set up, I'm going to talk to you. We'll talk on the phone, see what you're dealing with or see what you're trying to work through, whether it be life, whether it be family or whatever it is. And I'm going to talk with you and help you find a solution, because you guys got to know I do more than just play the bass, right? So, you know, and this is probably part of my speaking, and this is part of more of my individual one-on-one trying to help people, because I've done this and kind of helped and mentored a lot of friends and colleagues and family in helping them to kind of do certain things that further their career. So I want to offer that to all of you as well as something that it's something that I'm doing now. Now there are different levels of calls that you can do. I think the lowest one that you can do is it's a 40-minute thing over a month's time. So that means it's a 10-minute call once a week for a month that we talk, and we kind of cover some things, and I give you some practical things that you can do to start implementing, to start getting results. That's the biggest thing, to start getting results to get you towards whatever it is you're trying to do. Again, I repeat, this is not a base lesson. This is not necessarily have to be music related. If it's something concerning music, I will answer your questions if it's concerning music, but this is not intended to be a base lesson. The monthly membership lessons are for that reason and for that purpose. I'm not currently going back to one-on-one lessons, so that's not what that is. I simply can't, with so many people, I can't do that right now. I don't know if a day will come that I will be able to do more one-on-one lessons, but right now I can't really afford the time to do the one-on-one lessons. I don't have enough hours in a week to do that. But with the one-on-one coaching calls, I do have a little more time. It gives me a little more flexibility to do that. So I encourage you guys to go check that out. Let me see these comments. And that's all on JermaineMorgan.net, by the way. Let me check out some more of these comments that I missed. Y'all went in on the comments for a second. Let's see here. What's up, Sid? Struggling with Sid from ATR. Struggling with the bass playing. With the bass you're playing, try to have it set up. Set the intonation. It's actually cool. If you're on Instagram, if you following Victor Wooten on Instagram, he actually gave a little tip on how to set your bass up. Like a really quick little tip on adjusting the intonation, everything from adjusting the truss rod intonation to raising and lowering the strings. So you got your intonation right here, you got your truss rod here. Some people's are up here, so I'm not gonna go into it. Go to Victor Wooten's Instagram page if you haven't. He posted a video talking about how to do that. So that might be of some help to you. See it if it's that issue. If not, you might be running into a situation where you might need to check out some options of pickups or some new strings, maybe. I don't know. Is it possible to look around your music temple? Wow, it's a mess. I know that. Yeah, if you're still on here, here it is, man. We're still in the process. My studio is not finished. We're kind of still getting everything together. Yeah, but here, this is pretty much for now. Moving around too fast. This is what we have. And you can see my recording. Let me try to put this down without it falling. There's Isabella there in all of her splendor and glory. I don't want to get a bad connection, so I don't want to move around too much. But yeah, you could see the recording booth in there. We're still working on that room. Those are the drums in there, and so, yep. It's still a work in progress. I told y'all I recently moved, so we're still working on that. So that's the room, guys. That's where I'm at right now, in the studio. Okay. And the greatest part about it is separate from my house, so I don't have to worry about my kids beating on stuff or me waking somebody up early in the morning. So let's see here. I'm missing all kind of stuff, y'all. I'm from the South, UK. I speak like the Queen. Awesome. Sir Blue-Footed Booby. The Fender I'm playing has that floppy B string. With other basses would give me a better B string. Yeah, you might have to adjust the intonation on your B string, and that might help to get rid of that. If it's out of tune, low, like if you play your low C and then go down on the neck and play your high C on that same string and see if it's off, that might be an issue, or it might be something else. I'm not a bass tech, so I'm not gonna say, because I'm not completely sure, but that might have something to do with it. Let's see here. Fleetwood. Oh, and hey, what happened to the Fender J bass? Yeah, that was never my bass. I was keeping that bass. That was actually the church's bass. Yeah, I never claimed that Fender. I just kept it at my house, and I played it for a while. I played it for years. It was just one of those things when I was at the church. I felt like it would be better taken care of, because sometimes you know how you leave stuff laying around and people either walk off with it or they don't handle it right. So I kept it while I was the bass player there. I kept it at my house and just cared for it. Just kept strings on it, kept it maintenance and everything. So yeah, that wasn't my Fender Jazz, man. Sorry about that. That was never my bass. Let's see here. Trying to get this stuff to scroll. There we go. All right. Imagine Noah's Journey is my favorite song. The Journey Continues record, The Voice. Man, thank you so much. That's one of my favorite songs off that record too. Hopefully you got the new record, Dreams Work Reality, the Jermaine Morgan Band. I've realized a lot of people can't find that record because it's not in my name. It's in the Jermaine Morgan Band. So if y'all haven't heard that record, please go pick it up. It's on a playlist on here on YouTube. Stream it. I don't care. Create a playlist. Play it over and over again. Do that. If you don't buy it, just at least keep playing it. Let somebody else hear it. What's your take on how attack songs and solos short notice for concerts? Go at it. Don't doubt yourself. Go for it. Go for it. Play what you hear and be confident. You know what I'm saying? Whatever you got to give. They call you out last minute. Tell a story. If you have, a few bars, tell a story, come to a great climax, and make sure they feel what it is that you're playing. Uh, let's see here. Do you still play any 4-string bass, or do you still keep what in your arsenal? 6-string. Yeah, I still play. I got the Jaguar by Squire that I play. I don't play it out, really hardly any, because I like to have the option of the low B string. I'll play a 5 pretty regularly, and it's between 5 and 6 for me. Just for what I do personally, I like having that option of the low B string. Of course, I like having that 6-string, and it varies for me. It matters the bass, but yeah, 5 and 6 are pretty much my go-tos. But I do play 4. Um, let's see here. Did JD Dram make your Warrior bass? Yes, he did. He made both of them. I'm pretty sure somebody else helped, but yeah, that's who built them. What's up, Jermaine? Jack here, watching from Kenya. Just want to know what's your journey been like back in the day when you were learning. So playing. I don't really consider myself a masterful player. I think my journey in the early time of me playing, my journey was pretty straightforward in terms of learning the bass. I never really took the bass serious. I could always jump on it and do it. I come up in a quartet background, gospel quartet, and I played like I could hear blues and can figure that stuff out. So I could play blues and more soul music. So the bass lines were pretty much always straightforward. So it wasn't anything that was complicated coming from me being a guitar player. So my approach early on was a very simple approach to bass. It was just means to an end. Like, I would just play what the song called for and move on. I could play licks and runs because I played guitar. But once I became a professional bass player, that's when I started getting more technical about understanding tone, understanding pickup, understanding hand placement, and all of that. So my journey to becoming more experienced and more seasoned as a bass player came later as I became a professional. It's like I became more skilled at the bass in terms of technical wise after becoming a professional. I hate using that term, a professional, but like after getting on a gig that paid me to play the bass regularly, that's when I started really digging into the other parts of playing that. It was difficult. I spent a lot of time, I studied a lot of different people. When it came to my solos, I would always listen to people that were light years ahead of me, so that always kept me pushing and never getting to a point that I was really complacent. So that was a lot of that journey. I'm trying to answer these questions quickly before I jump off. Thank y'all, man. I appreciate that. Yo, Jermaine, I'm now in a church. I really learned music, how to play shop music. How do you work through the change and progression? Yeah, Drummer Boy, please check out I mentioned this earlier, but please check out my course, the Shout Bump Bass course on my website, JermaineMorgan.net, if you haven't already checked that out. And I think you'll find an answer to that question there. So yeah, guys, I just wanted to jump on. I've been on here over an hour. I didn't want to do that. But I just want to jump on and talk with y'all this morning, share with y'all. Hopefully y'all have enjoyed it. I've enjoyed sharing. And I did play today, so nobody can say I didn't play. I did play at the beginning of the video. So if you didn't see that, you got to go back and watch the beginning. So I did play today, but I've enjoyed talking to y'all. I'm getting ready to jump off. So whatever last minute comments, you better drop them quick. Great, Jermaine, but I have a question. How do you improvise without missing a train of thought? Let's see here. Calls to me improvisation, communication with your audience. Yeah, absolutely. It is a communication with your audience. That's what I'm saying. Telling a story, but you got to be careful that you don't let the audience control what you're trying to say as a musician. You have to make sure that whatever you're wanting to express is coming genuinely from you and not being, because sometimes you can let the crowd control your conversation. If they're not responding, you start, okay, well, maybe they respond if I do a little slap bass. Now you're just playing to please everybody as opposed to playing to be musically honest. It all depends on what you're trying to do in that solo. If you're just trying to get an applause, of course, do everything that the crowd wants you to do and try to make sure you please the audience. But oftentimes, that I found in my career as a solo musician, sometimes you're not going to get the response that you want from the audience. They're not. Sometimes you could be sitting there playing and they don't say anything, or they don't give you any feedback. Especially if you're not playing for musicians or people who genuinely appreciate music. You might find yourself in the company of people who like music, but they don't like necessarily like bass solos. So you have to make sure you're being musically honest to give the best representation of what you hear musically and get that out regardless of how anybody responds. And when you're honest musically, there's always going to be that some person that came up to you like, man, I don't know what you were playing, but that was amazing. Like, I don't even like bass playing like that, but what you did was amazing. And it's not that you're looking for that gratification from that person, but just be musically honest. Don't be driven so much by the crowd. Care about what they want to hear, but don't be completely driven by what the crowd wants to hear all the time. Do you just be a crowd chaser, people pleaser, and it won't make you feel fulfilled as a musician. Oftentimes you'll leave feeling low because you didn't feel like you were honest in the music. That's been my experience. Um, let's see here. Stepman, let me see here. I just want to thank you for sharing your knowledge this morning. I got to go to work. Man, thank you for staying. Thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate everybody that's jumped on, everybody's watching this video, even in the replay. Thank y'all for watching so much. Play the last one. I'm jumping off. How often do you do this? I'm not sure what you're referring to. I've answered so many questions. Awesome seeing you here. Jason, thank you, man. I've seen your name pop up quite a bit, man. So thank you for being here. Is it necessary to play a 5-string? I like 4-string. If you're more comfortable with a 4-string, by all means, rock out on a 4-string. No, it's not necessary to play 5 or 6 or even 4 for that matter. It's whatever you're comfortable with and whatever helps you to be honest in expressing you. In a more technical sense, if it's about a gig, whatever that gig requires, it's really about that if you're trying to get paid. But if you're just doing it for leisure and for pleasure, or if you're a solo person, it's about what you like. It's not about all of that, the amount of strings. Let's see here. You made a comment and I started to lay it down, but from your comment, I'm going to keep going. Man, thank you, Ernest. Absolutely. You got to keep going. You can't quit. How often do you come? Oh, got you, man. I've been coming live every week. Now, I think the best time for me, as far as my schedule right now, is Tuesdays. Tuesday morning, I try to go live around 7:30 on Tuesday morning. So be looking out 7:30 Eastern time. I'm in Atlanta, New York, that time zone. So be sure to tune in every Tuesday morning for now. If it changes, I'll try to give a post. If you guys are not on my mailing list, please go ahead and sign up. You can sign up from my website, join my mailing list, and you can be updated because I'm trying to send out an email when I'm going live so you guys can kind of have a heads up. I know everybody have a lot going on, especially if you still sleep. You ain't thinking about getting up and looking at the dude play the bass at 7:30 in the morning. So, so please join the mailing list if you haven't done that. You guys have a nice day as well, man. And I appreciate you sharing this video with somebody and whoever you think it can be helpful to. And remember, at the end of the day, don't try to impress nobody. Be as musically honest with yourself as you can as you continue to grow and enjoy the process every step of the way. Life is, what was it? The journey. I forgot my own quote. Journey is, don't worry about it. I got to find my own quote. I forgot it. Anyway, enjoy your life. Enjoy the journey. And yeah. Who is this? Thanks for your input. Response. I play 70s funk R&B. Okay, got you. Oh yeah, you playing funk in a 70s band, 4-string all day. I'm pretty sure you can get away with doing that 4-string. You'd be just fine. Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I've been on here way too long. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am out of here. I can't remember my quote. Nonetheless, it must not be that important. All right.